After our weeks travelling in Asia, we felt very privileged to be invited to stay in Pat and Mary's beautiful home in Sorrento, near Perth in Western Australia. They had a lovely swimming pool, but this one belonged to our other friends, Colin and Flo, and we were spending Christmas Day with them in Australian style.
Got to have you in it, yeah.
You don't want to go on?
Yes, I said I've got to.
Oh, happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Hello, everybody in Jersey. Hey, Judy. Hey, Billy.
Eat is what you give on.
Seal Street. Seal Street.
That's the first cosy bit.
Get the size of these prawns.
We were also pleased to visit Frank's Aunt Anne and cousin Jane, who lived nearby. Fremantle seemed to be a city in a beautiful setting, although the convicts of earlier years were probably not able to appreciate it. Another day, we borrowed bicycles and took them to nearby Rottnest Island, and our first opportunity for snorkelling. We were delighted to catch sight of one of these unique local inhabitants, a quokka, but soon found he was really quite used to human visitors. After Christmas, Colin kindly lent us his four-wheel drive to spend a few days exploring north of Perth. He's going about his own business. After meeting various species of Australian wildlife, we came to the Pinnacles Desert with its extraordinary natural rock formations. Our overnight stays were in backpackers' accommodation, and this unusual room was part of a converted railway carriage. The next day's travel took us past this pink lake, caused by natural minerals, and onto a guided riverboat trip in Kalbarri.
They overlap each other, and this of course creates the main river channel. So from where we are here at the moment, in between the two reefy bits, is of course your access point in and out the river system.
Here we found hundreds of pink-breasted parakeets flying free, as well as wild pelicans, who preferred the soft option of being hand-fed daily.
So that's how you tell between a mature bird and a juvenile. She wouldn't be 4 years old yet. You see how light her feathers are? Not different colour. And that's, I think she's coming maybe with the parents, and that's why they didn't all run over there. We've only got Georgie, which is this one here, of the original clan. They might have all gone off. They're very nomadic. You'll be a big thrower, you throw it right at the back. And that's it.
The four-wheel drive came into its own on our next trip to the nearby national park.
Mind the kangaroo.
Despite constant warnings to watch out for kangaroos crossing the road, we only briefly glimpsed one. Have a little rest, eh?
Look at your deers on here.
Why haven't you got any? The whole area was barren, hot and fly-ridden, and it took stronger-hearted folk to walk far afield. So we moved back to the coast to Rockingham, where Frank had previously enjoyed a season of windsurfing and found it had now been almost taken over by kite surfers. Our next night stop at Eniaba proved difficult for accommodation, but we were allowed to use a roadhouse cabin, which was adjacent to the nearby miners' camp, which was full of similar shared cabins. The boardwalks built in many nature reserves were a pleasure to experience. Showing us the way to go. When we travelled south of Perth, we met our first roadside kangaroos. Then we moved on to the Dolphin Centre at Bunbury, where the local dolphins appear to enjoy their interaction with visitors as much as the people do. After this, we came to the Margaret River area, famous as an exhilarating windsurfing venue. Further south, we were able to explore several forests which were full of various spectacular and record-breaking trees.
I just got that feeling.
The canopy walk at Walpole gave us the chance to experience being at the tree canopy level with a bird's eye view and swaying along with the branches. This little bird is a blue wren, native to the area. A local petting farm gave us and other visitors a chance to get close to some of the local native animals. Oh, they're sweet, aren't they?
They've got a good life, they don't know it though.
One out of the camera.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Some of the joeys were without their mothers and loved having anyone to cuddle and take care of them. Yeah. And now it was time for us to take a plane over to Central Australia and join a small group exploring the Ayers Rock area. Firstly, we were pleased to get an overhead view from a sheep station helicopter. After this, the itinerary involves exploring the rough terrain of Kings Canyon, with the temperature at 46 degrees centigrade. And this time we decided to use this inelegant protection against the pestering hordes of flies.
Because you want to know where you're going at 200 k's an hour. On the other side over there, that's where the kids are. 200 kilometres an hour. A lot of trees, a lot of vegetation here.
Go on. Burke. Fortunately, the promised crater lake provided a welcome break from the enervating heat. And we were amazed to find some creatures were able to live apparently happily in this blistering environment. In the evening we were to camp out and needed a fire for light and cooking. Our knowledgeable guide Neil had also to drive the bus and cook for us all, and although he recruited some help, he even managed to bake us a loaf as part of a fine meal. Afterwards we chose to enjoy the starlit sky and sleep in the open. The next day, everyone joined in preparing a picnic lunch, and we set off for another hot climb around a formation of rocks called the Olgas. We were again surprised at the amount of flora and fauna present in this arid area, which included a natural pool with healthy tadpoles. In the evening, we were able to have the standard tourist champagne viewing of the colour changes as the sun sets on the famous Ayers Rock. The next morning, we were up before dawn to view it all again from a different angle. As the sun rose, we were able to walk around the circumference and get a close-up view. Some of the Aboriginal artwork remains intact. Other groups chose to undertake the controversial and difficult climb to the top. But we preferred to continue to be amazed by the wildlife. Later that day we flew off again to Cairns in eastern Australia and experienced a rapid change to a humid land of rainforests. We were able to enjoy a sky rail trip from Cairns to Kuranda, followed by a fascinating rail journey back down the mountain.
It's just like a canopy wall.
It mainly does that to stop vines from attaching themselves to the tree. It's quite a long-lived species. This just wraps itself around this tree, just using this tree for support. But you'll find as we go through, there's so many vines that have attached themselves to the tree, and such a really high diversity of plants. They tend to put all their efforts in growing up to try and get to the canopy, because that's where all the light is. And once they reach the canopy, that's when they start to put on their girth. Lower branches. That's how you get this really straight and smooth cut. It mainly does that to stop vines from attaching themselves to the tree. It's quite a long-lived species.
Good trip this one now, isn't it? Finished. You can film right down. You can get your camera out of the other window, can't you?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. On behalf of QR, I would like to welcome you on board our train today.
The volume of water pouring over the falls has varied a great deal over the years, although nearby Tinaroo Dam now restricts the flow. Water from the dam is used to irrigate many crops grown on the tableland.
Jump, man.
The commentary, I will inform you of some of the history surrounding the line's construction as we go along. The locomotive hauling our train is a diesel-electric locomotive. Steam locomotives worked this line until 1967 and took 4.5 hours to complete the journey. After a number of men were killed during the blasting. To make up for loss of time, the men leading this tunnel had 11 safety cones to prevent anyone being trapped by an oncoming train. And coming to Stony Creek, you will see magnificent views towards Cairns and the coast. You can see the city of Cairns in distance.
While based back in Cairns, we took a boat trip to nearby Green Island on the Barrier Reef, before setting off southward, passing this curtain fig tree and then the historic Italian cemetery at Ingham. Because the sea in this area is infested by the dangerous jellyfish known as stingers, it was unsafe for swimming, but suitably protected, we visited Magnetic Island on a kayaking trip. We then travelled inland through Pioneer Valley, passing a herd of local Brahman cows. Alongside a pretty creek, we readily found barbecues available for public use and were keenly watched over by a pair of kookaburras. We trekked to the nearby Wheel of Fire Falls before driving further up to Yongella, famous for its platypus viewing area. Back at Rockhampton, we toured the Heritage Village and Archer Station, before taking a trip which included visiting a crocodile farm as well as a cattle ranch. We then visited the old mining town of Mount Morgan and chatted about life and farming with a local country family. After this it was back to the coast, where it was lovely to see the beach being used, as we were now out of the dangerous stinger zone. Soon we found a deserted beach of our own, then again took a voyage to the Barrier Reef, to the small but beautiful Lady Musgrave Island this time. As well as the wonderful snorkelling, we had the chance of some reef fishing from the boat on the way back. Our next excitement was at night time at Mon Repos, when we were lucky enough to see a loggerhead turtle come ashore to lay 89 eggs, which were promptly relocated by staff to a safer area. Back inland, we passed some strange holes known as the Mystery Craters, and took pictures of various historic Australian buildings which were still in use and good repair. A quick view across the countryside, then we took another trip to lovely Fraser Island. The constant natural springs flowed with crystal clear water, and this lake was based on such fine white silica sand that it is reputed to be good for the complexion. Water sports and activity were now in evidence everywhere. And so we spent time with a succession of various different but beautiful beaches. Another inland trip took us to Dorrigo National Park and another waterfall. This view shows some of the complexities of the waterways along the coastal region. Tuncurry was a pretty area, with the pelicans again preferring the lazy way of gathering food. At Tiona, this green cathedral has been set out so that church services can be held in natural surroundings. We were surprised to come across these sand dunes at Mungo Brush and moved on to tea gardens, where we hired a tinny for our own river trip. Next, we were able to stay with long-standing family friends Craig and Sarah and their family before moving on to the daunting big city of Sydney. Here we much enjoyed the chance of parasailing over Sydney Harbour. Our final couple of days were spent in the nearby Blue Mountains, with cockatoos flying free, wallabies in the forest glades, and a last chance of some horse riding. And then there was just time for a brief rest before flying on to Bali and home.